Buckle up, hotties. It's time to talk some hoops. Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants with Brandon, Nate, and Jordan.
What's poppin', panty people? Welcome to Crunch Wears No Pants. I am Jordan Jolly Alamad. That is Nate, Paralyzer by Finger 11 Alamad. And over there is Brandon Gene Takovic back. And together we are the Hoops Department bosses at PullTabSports.com. And we are powered exclusively by Jimmy's Dips, Joe Mama Salsa. And we are smothering ourselves in that luscious, viscous. Ooh, that luscious, viscous. Viscous. Luscious, viscous. Ducannon. Yeah. What a day to record a podcast. The season ended yesterday and we have not one, but two off-season scandals to discuss.
Spoiler alert, they're nothing.
Well, you never know that, Brandon. So should we just dive right in? I have some pre-vibes talk for us. We didn't make a show sheet today, so let's do some pre-vibes talk.
Some of us did, but you just decided to make your secret show sheet.
Did you make that?
Secret.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, well, I assumed it was...
My bad.
Thank you, Brandon.
We had a couple things. So I want to start with Wolves Twitter. They're angry. Wolves Twitter is very angry. Earlier this week, Jimmy Butler went off for 56 points and everyone was like, I can't believe the Timberwolves chose Cat over Jimmy, which is not what happened. Do we have any thoughts on that whole 48-hour-old temper tantrum? Nothing?
I mean, it was just really cool what Jimmy Butler did.
Jimmy Butler's a fun player to watch. I know we're not supposed to say that, but it's fun to watch him play.
Yeah, I think we're far enough removed where you can say that. I think Cole Aldridge should shut the hell up. I don't know why he's popping off on
bench
Twitter.
Players talking like starters. My lord, 3.3 points per game. Cole Aldridge,
Go
what
back
are you
to
doing?
your West Bloomington yacht, Cole.
Yeah, he's from Bloomington.
Yeah, he's from PWB.
And he's talking like, get out of here.
Prestigious.
Okay, go back to Cowboy Jacks, dude. I'm sure they miss your money. all 700K that you made over your career, which is actually
he made a lot of money.
Did he actually?
He signed a big contract with the Wolves.
He signed
last year was the first year we were done paying Cole.
So I can't even talk shit financially about him. I thought he was
I think
kind
we
of
paid him like
$21
$21 million or something.
What?
Yeah.
No,
well, it's the NBA. Contracts are inflated by
$21 million for Cole Aldridge.
No, not per year.
Nasty.
It was like, I think it was like
still
3
total.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole Aldridge signed a 3-year, $21 million contract.
Okay.
Look at me over here, just knowing numbers.
You love Cole
Ask me
Aldridge.
about AAV.
I'm going to ask.
I know nothing.
I'm going to ask you about every white wolf in history because you love them.
What about AAV?
Oh shoot! I don't. Apple Valley.
That's me. Hometown, baby.
Yeah,
not hometown.
Wait,
that's where I live.
AAVE is.
It's
African American
value.
What?
Average annual value.
Oh, I thought it was African American vernacular English.
Oh, maybe that.
I mean,
because I'm on woke.
When we're talking about contracts, AAV means average.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were talking about language.
In maps, it's Apple Valley. Apple Valley.
Apple Valley.
I hate this.
Jones represent.
I hate this.
Anyway.
Okay. Also, Wolves Twitter is mad about ESPN, Bleacher Report, and CBS Sports tweeting out memes about the Timberwolves losing. I think that's just how Twitter is. You shit post. I think it's a little bit tasteless.
The ESPN one was weird.
Yeah. So ESPN was like Timberwolves fans leaving the playoffs, and it was the video of Cat thanking the fans for helping him reignite his love for basketball the season his mother died.
Yeah. It was.
So fuck off, ESPN.
Was very weird behavior.
Yeah.
If that was like a normal dude, if that was like just a shit posting account or just like a guy, I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever,
exactly.
fair joke.
It was a weird thing to come from like
the sports leader.
Sports organization that's not like a jokey meme sports organization. It was like ESPN.
It's the CNN of sports.
And even
shit.
for the other outlets, it's like there wasn't really anything polarizing that happened this year. Like there wasn't like, oh, the Wolves did blah blah blah. Like they didn't.
Well, they traded 5 first-round picks. For
No,
Rudy
but like
Gobert.
nothing
during the series.
No one got punched in the
it's
nuts
not like
by Dylan
something
Brooks.
happened and they post that picture. They just made fun of the whole fan base for no reason.
It was weird.
My thing with and this kind of goes into my theories about just like jokes and comedy in general, is that comedy should always be punching down. I think George Carlin did a great job of this. And like those jokes are like, it's not punching down at all.
I think you mean punching up.
Punching down isn't good humor. Yeah. Sorry, you shouldn't punch down. Punching up is like how you should.
I was a little weirded out by that too. You should only make fun of those below you.
I really like the Ben Shapiro punching down humor. I think it's really, really sharp stuff. I think it's really quality humor.
That's why Donald Trump was so funny, because everything was punching down.
them off! Turn them off!
Turn off the lights.
That's for the Minnesota Wild too, by the way. Turn off the lights. They can't stand it. And then let's see. Last thing before we dive in. We have two more things. The cops were involved in an incident with Anthony Edwards. This just came out like an hour before we recorded last night. While he was running off the court, 2 Denver Nuggets employees claimed that they were injured by him throwing a chair. If you see the video, I think we see what they're talking about. And he moves a chair and it kind of hits them.
It grazes a kneecap.
It grazes. Yeah.
So I don't really want to talk about this too much because I think it's a whole lot of nothing. But if this were a big deal, we wouldn't have heard about it at 5:30 the next day. This would have been like the beat reporters in the stadium would have been like, holy shit, Anthony Edwards just hit a stadium employee with a chair.
Which made it sound like the WWE. Like, I was really hoping for a great video or some audio where he just really goes in on a guy.
Like it's just a whole lot of nothing. What happened is Anthony Edwards missed a shot. He was really frustrated, ran through the tunnel, spiked a chair. Probably shouldn't have spiked a chair. The chair bounced up and hit a couple of stadium employees, and they thought, bingo, it's payday time.
That's why we didn't hear about it till today, is because they went home, they got a night's sleep, talked to their significant other, and they were like, hey, we need to pay.
The report from denversports.com though was like nasty character assassination stuff. Yeah. Like both employees were injured by the play, and
by the thug Anthony Edwards
had to detain him, and it was like, well, that is not what happened.
And then Nuggets fans were calling Anthony Edwards a thug. How original. We are 3 dudes that went to a very white private Christian college, so we can smell passive aggressive suburban racism before it enters the room, and it smells a little bit like
I got news for you. If you're using the word thug to describe a black man, that's probably a little racist.
Also, you employ Jokic, the paralyzer, finger 11. Yeah. Nikola, paralyzer by finger 11, Jokic. Did he get the thug allegations? Whatever.
Probably not from Denver fans.
Probably me had it coming.
Actually, Markieff Morris,
a high character guy.
Jokic was standing his ground.
Yeah. Self-defense.
Oh my God. Denver, get it together. You are showing your ass right now. And then this is a small thing. Anthony Edwards liked a couple of comments on Instagram where the comment said the trade was the worst trade of all time. And then someone else said, I'll never forgive Minnesota for this. And Anthony Edwards liked both of those trades. Do we like or care about this at all? Well, we obviously don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really care about it at all. It might have been Anthony Edwards. He's also probably got representatives who have access to his account. It might have been one of them. This social media stuff, I mean, Kat has liked tweets before complaining about trades and this and that and the other thing and firing coaches. And I think we make way too big a deal out of this stuff. Like the second we get any inkling that someone's mad or unhappy about something, we're like, oh shit, they're going to ask for a trade. The franchise is over. The 2 days ago, right after they had won a game, when Anthony Edwards was in a good mood, he called out Rudy for playing super hard and how proud he was of him in the post-game interview. Like, it's just not. They had just lost a game. He was really mad.
Durf, do you have thoughts about Anthony Edwards' Instagram usage, or should we just keep on going?
I'm just not putting a lot of stock in liked comment from 2 hours after the game ended from a 21-year-old. Like,
yeah,
we all said a lot of things we don't actually believe.
I think there's a decent chance that Anthony Edwards probably hates that trade and thinks it was really dumb. They traded one of his best friends, Jared Vanderbilt, for a guy who isn't very well respected around the NBA because he plays like a weird, not super visually appealing game. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that that's like news.
Yeah, but it's Anthony Edwards is not good at Instagram. Yeah. He's got to stop Instagram.
That's the best way to put it.
Okay, well, that's our pre-vibe segment. Did you like it? Let us know at No Pants Crunch on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You know what we do love? Duke Cannon, baby. Take your hair and hygiene to the next level with Duke Cannon. All right, so we didn't talk about this on the show last week. We kind of mentioned it, but I did go to the Middle East. I visited my family in Jordan, and every day we'd walk around the desert and get sweaty, and that was sandy. And, we didn't shower every day because you had to conserve water over there a little bit. But when I did shower, I brought some of my Duke Cannon viscous body wash. And boy, howdy, did that feel good. You know when you're gross and then you shower and you feel good? Duke Cannon enhances that big time. All right, so they got the thick body wash. That's my favorite. I got the Bay Rum. Durf's got the Naval Diplomacy. How's the Naval Diplomacy been treating you, Durf?
It's so good.
Oh, so good.
I step out of the shower and all my cares are gone.
I can smell Durf from here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I want to go on their website and see what else they got, because they got some stuff that's only online that's not in the stores. Viscous.
We love viscosity here.
Huge Viscous fans.
Hang on, they got the big ass brick of soap. We talked about that last week. It's not just for your ass. Okay,
Yeah,
you can use it for your.
No, it's for
It's
it's
big
for
ass,
big ass.
not big ass soap.
Yeah, it's. Also, definitely wash your ass. Have you seen those like tweets on like
You don't
when you don't wash your butt, you gotta wash your butt, guys.
definitely wash your
Men,
butt.
and this is a men problem. Spread it. Get in there with the big ass brick of soap. Duke Cannon, you're welcome. Hey, if you buy that big ass brick of soap or the scrubber or the hand soap or the thick body wash, you can do so at dukecannon.com. Use the promo code PULLTAB10 and you'll get 10% off. Also, I'm seeing free shipping if you spend more than $50. You can also buy it at Target. All right. How are the vibes, gentlemen? Since we last recorded, we have been kicked out of the playoffs. We recorded after game 1, right?
Yeah.
So after that, game 2 happened. We lost 113 to 122. Game 3 happened. We lost 120 to 111. Game 4, Wolves win. 114 to I put 114 to 80, but that's not true. And then we lost game 5 to 112 to 9. So I posed the question: how are the vibes, Nathan? Finger 11, Allsdorf. How are the vibes? You're a horse.
That's my official answer. Oh man, I don't know, dude. No, I was trying to think about this last night and today. And like, I think I'm just confused how the vibes are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I prefaced before when we last recorded how like, yeah, you don't like, the NBA is kind of like chalk wins out and don't get your hopes up. We're an 8 playing a 1. We're hurt, whatever. But it doesn't take away
The sting.
the hurt, the inevitable hurt that we all have. And there's a billion excuses. We've been hearing them all year. They've been piling up. Yes, the series is different with Jaden and Nas, but it just, I don't know. It feels like we learned some stuff about ourselves that it's like we can lean into this, and I feel like we learned some stuff that we're like, this is how it is. I think that the series ends differently with Jaden and Naz, but I think that we saw that the ceiling with this team is just not very high.
You think? I think this is the floor of this team.
I think that the ceiling and the floor don't have a lot of variance.
You think we're in a tiny ass little short ass room?
That's probably giving us these huge guys.
That's why, because small ball is dead, Durf. We can't fit in these little rooms. So, okay. I saw a tweet from Purple Jesus Diaries, Panty Nation, we in here. And he said that last year we saw the ceiling of the Timberwolves, and this year we saw the floor of the Timberwolves, which is why we're having like some cognitive dissonance with like, the vibes of what you described. Yeah. You really think that the ceiling isn't 6-time NBA champions?
I'm not saying, I don't think that the ceiling is as big as would justify the trades that got us here, or the moves that got us here. I do think that this was the floor, but it seems like some.
Oh, you just said it was the ceiling. This guy's a flip flop McGee.
I'm just gonna both.
Did you say both?
I said that the ceiling is high. The ceiling is.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, you said variance. I just forgot about the last 2 minutes of you talking. God damn it! I'm sorry.
Anyway, we can get into the back and forth.
Yeah. We'll save it for that. I agree with you. I don't think there's that much more we can get out of this group, and we'll dive into that more.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. There's a couple things that I was going to talk about. Like, we already know all of the excuses. They're out there. I talked about like learning a lot in playoff series because I feel like that's really important in evaluating, moving forward, seeing people step up. And I think we saw the few things that we learned is NBA reffing does not favor the Minnesota Timberwolves in a playoff series.
Yeah.
So that was sad and that was a bummer, but we did learn that Na is a really fun player. He's somebody that kind of came out of the woodwork and is something that we hopefully can employ as a future depth piece, something to build around.
Cool tattoos.
We learned that our bench is not very good.
Well, that's where
We learned
that,
that,
like,
guys,
most of
9
that
through 12
wasn't
suck.
actually the bench. Like you just talked about, that should be the bench.
yeah, but I'm just saying without Nas and Jaden, our bench is extremely depleted. And what we saw was a bench that's not good enough to take the floor so that the rest of your starters are so tired.
Gassed. You have 36-year-old Mike Conley.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I mean. It's more so like implied bad.
Yeah.
They weren't good
I
enough
think-
to even see the floor.
I think my point is we actually didn't see the bench in that series. We saw like the backups to the bench because the bench was either hurt or in the starting lineup because the starters were hurt.
We did get a brief resurgence of Macaroni Tony, and that was amazing.
Game 4 Macaroni Tony is legendary, and now I just want him to fly off into the distance, and we'll remember you fondly. But I never want to see him play for the Timberwolves again.
I kind of was. I don't want to do much Austin Rivers talk, but I was kind of like, I like seeing him out there. He just runs around. I'm not sure why I didn't play more. I rarely agree with Draymond, but when he tweeted like, "Why isn't Austin Rivers playing more?" I was like, we could probably use.
We talked about that on the last show.
Did we? I don't remember.
We talked about trying to find that eighth guy, and our thought at the time
was our friend.
Well, no, I at least, and I think some of you agreed with me. I'm not sure. The point was like to lean into variance with guys guys like Austin Rivers, Wendell Moore, the guys who like you don't know what you're going to get out of them.
That's right. I
and
remember.
You could get like a huge high or a huge low. Whereas Austin Rivers is just kind of leaning into competence where he's not a ceiling raiser, but he's theoretically a floor raiser.
You were an in target center when he hit that three. The ceiling was
the ceiling was the roof.
The ceiling was the roof, and it was great. Brandon, how are your vibes? Do you have any more bits you want to finesse in here, or you want to organically shoehorn them in later?
I just say the biggest takeaway that we all had is that Ant truly is him.
Yes,
he's so good. I was looking at his playoff or his series breakdown last year versus this year, and like if you didn't watch the game, the numbers also definitely back up the fact that he stepped it up this year. He kind of like took over that role of knowing like, oh, this is my team. No one else is going to do it.
I'm the alpha.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm an alpha too, Durf. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, D'Angelo Russell over there.
It felt like Anthony Edwards was way more in control because last year I didn't know like what was going on. I would kind of be. It was kind of like a Kevin Love syndrome. And I'd be like surprised at the box score, like, oh shit, Ant like went off. Whereas this series, it really felt like, oh, Ant's in control. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Ant was like a car when you're 18 where you like drive fast, but you didn't crash. But now Ant this year is like a Jeff Gordon. Do you like that analogy?
That's
or
perfect.
No, it was stupid. Okay, Brandon.
Perfect is a word for it.
Brandon, how are the vibes?
I think the vibes are great. And you just got done talking about how great Anthony Edwards is. And I just think it's great because I never thought we were going to win that series. Game 1 was a horrendous, soulless experience. The second half of game 2 was awesome. Game 3 was a horrific, soulless experience. Game 4 was awesome. And I thought game 5 was awesome too.
Game 5 was great. That was I had a lot of fun watching that game. Great things to take away.
We lost to a team on the road that went 35-7 at home this season. And honestly, my number one takeaway from the playoff series is just like Durf said, Anthony Edwards on the big stage. We'll talk a little bit about Cat later in the show. In the opposite end of the spectrum, we've seen that Anthony Edwards on the big stage thrives.
Turn on the lights.
He steps up and he plays his best basketball when things are the most important. And I think that is validating how well he played in the Memphis series. To now back that up 2 years in a row just really proves that sometimes I think we kind of even undersell Ant during the regular season because we're frustrated about like the inconsistent level of engagement and he's not showing up against the bad teams sometimes, and it leads to like the fluctuations, like the letdowns against like the Portlands and stuff.
Yeah.
And we get lost in like the day-to-day, but it was good to see like in the playoffs, we kind of realized like, oh shit, this is like a one-of-one guy.
Yeah. And his number's 1 too, which is pretty cool.
Like this is a legitimate foundational piece to like a real contender. This is
Kevin Garnett level stuff.
Outside of Kevin Garnett, this is something we've never even come close to in this market. As much as we like Cat, and Cat is a terrific player and a multi-time All-Star, and Kevin Love is a 3-time All-Star, and again, Jimmy Butler for 1 year. But like to have a guy at the level Anthony Edwards is at right now, at his age, like you see stats pop up. We don't even really acknowledge them anymore, but we see these stats pop up and it's like Anthony Edwards has the most playoff points all time, except for Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like he's the only guy under age 21 to have 830 point games in the playoffs. And so he's just doing really special stuff. And it's frustrating because we're losing the series that he's doing these things in, but we're seeing the foundation of like a truly special, like next level superstar player. And that's why the vibes are good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think the vibes are, I'm optimistic. My vibes are optimistic. Fear is the mind killer forever and always. I put so much stock in the positive parts of the season. I've kind of glossed over the negative parts because again, I've watched a 17-win team for 48 minutes a night for years of my life. So seeing, going to the playoffs twice in a row, it really amps me up. I don't know what to make of all the offseason stuff. My vibes were astronomically high this morning up until like 4:30 p.m. And I'm like, oh God, he hit a guy with a chair and now he's liking tweets. But I'm trying not to assign too much value to that. I think the vibes are optimistic. I think there's a lot to build on here. I don't know how they're going to build on it. I don't know what that looks like. But, when your franchise has Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, I don't think the vibes could be that horrendous.
Yeah.
At this point. Let's see here. Let's in the show notes under how are the vibes, we have why does Jokic get to do all of that? Do we want to hit on that or should we just gloss over it? I'm gonna get mad. It's gonna raise my blood pressure.
I don't think we need to talk about Nikola Jokic. Like the series is over.
That's more of a question out to the echoes of the universe. Like,
how come?
Why does he get to do that?
Who
Beck put that in there.
Going into off of Anthony Edwards, who do you guys think was the best player in the series, Ant or Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray is a hooper.
Guys, Jamal Murray was unbelievable.
He was
insane.
It was so much fun to watch him like run around. I've decided that I don't hate the Nuggets, but I hate
the Nuggets either.
I hate Jokic big time. But I was sitting next to some Nuggets fans during Game 4. I would just talk reckless shit about Jokic. I kept yelling white privilege, and Allie got mad at me. Apparently it was bringing attention to ourselves. But then I would go out of my way to be like, "Oh, Michael Porter Jr. kind of a hooper. Jamal Murray, the bubble back."
I don't really like Michael Porter.
I don't
Jr.
like Michael Porter Jr. at all.
Why is it his face? I kind of agree. It's very square.
No, it's mostly because in a world without Kyrie Irving, he might be Kyrie Irving.
That's true.
Is he a problematic guy?
Yeah, he's a flat earther, anti-vaxxer, conspiracy theorist guy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is he anti-Semitic? I feel like
I don't know if he's anti-Semitic.
And again, I want to be careful about
Michael Porter Jr. anti-Semitic. Yeah, we're on the mic, dude. You could get sued for slander.
I don't think we need to talk about Michael Porter Jr.
Anyway,
he's kind of a loser, though.
Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like that he had some back injury and then they got to get him at the end of the first round, and then he just made a miraculous recovery.
Miraculous recovery. He's still teetering on that back injury.
What was? Did he have back surgery?
He's had multiple back surgeries.
Yeah, well, I hope he has more.
Wow.
What? Wait, who are we talking about?
Effective.
And they save his back.
Yeah, I'm saying like it clearly haven't worked yet.
Who are we talking about? I zoned out.
Michael Porter Jr.
Okay, I was
hoping for his future physical success and health.
That was wishing him well.
That's very nice.
Exactly.
Okay, what do we make of Cat? What do we make of a guy
bad?
Cat bad?
No, I just wanted to fill the air. What are you asking?
Just Karl Anthony Towns. We talked about the successes of Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
And then Ant was great, and then Cat kind of stumbled up until the last half of the series, which was great to see, which was very promising to see Cat come alive.
Beck, break down the dichotomy of rising to the lights.
What do you make of this?
I mean, that's my biggest takeaway from the series is Anthony Edwards rose to the occasion. My second biggest takeaway from the series is unfortunately Karl Anthony Towns. And man, this is 3 stinkers in a row in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really
Stinky.
hard. Yeah, like it.
Stinky.
And the second half of Game 5, he played really well. I still think they just needed more from him in that game, though. Like, if he knocks down a 3 at some point, they'd probably win that game. And the rim attacks were great. The and ones were great, but
kept us alive for sure. It needs to be said. Like but
they were showing like 3 on Ant every time he got the ball. And so like kudos to you, Kat, for getting to the rim and finishing. But like, there's a lot of NBA players that can get to the rim and finish when there's a guy drawing the attention of 3 guys up at the top of the key.
I thought it was pretty crazy how he could jerk it and then time it so well.
So
delete that.
I came away from the series very, very unimpressed and unenthusiastic about the future prospects of Karl Anthony Towns. He was the turnovers, and it wasn't just the defense last night on Jokic was good.
Yeah, he did a great job.
But it really felt like the lights got too big for him.
Yeah.
Like we talked about how in game 1, it felt like he was rushing everything and moving too quickly. But then in the other games, like he kept his composure with the refs, but like the turnovers were terrible. And he never got in any sort of rhythm shooting the ball. And he just didn't really know, he didn't know how to pick his spots and didn't really know how to fit in to the flow of the offense.
It looked stagnant. He was 1 for 5 from beyond the arc on average throughout the series. 18 points a game, 10 rebounds, 2 assists.
I think the problem is that
18 turnovers.
They needed more. They needed more from him in this series, and it's just he's had good games sprinkled in here and there, but the postseason resume has gotten too big to ignore at this point. The Houston series, his first playoff series, was terrible. A terrible showing from Kat. The Memphis series had its ups and downs, but ultimately they lost that series because he was the center and they couldn't rebound. And that's a huge mark on his legacy. And outside of a good second half of game 5, he was terrible in this Denver series. And they lost 3 close games. And I'm not saying that they win those games if Karl Anthony Towns is better, but
shit, man,
they were really close when he was really, really bad.
Yeah. Durf, any thoughts on the enigma that is Kat?
I guess first off, I completely agree with your thought, Beck. To me, it went from Ant and Kat being 1A and 1B to a very clear 1 and 2, and then sometimes during the series 3. Like, Kat was just not reliable. I mean, you have your supposed best 3-point shooter on the team shooting 25% in the series. Yeah. It's like the whole purpose of having him being able to pop out and then have Rudy to get the boards. Like, it's supposed to help with spacing, but it's also supposed to help with him getting more shots up, and he took less and made less. And they were some bad misses, man. Like some wide open threes that you just have to hit in big moments.
And stuff that, like, you know what's crazy? Like when he came back from his injury, we had like the Golden State game. Like the team was rolling. And you're like, oh shit, is this the year that happens?
So, but the more I think about that, like the West Coast stretch where the game, like they beat Atlanta, they beat Golden, they beat the Clippers. How did that go? They beat Atlanta, lost to the Clippers, beat the Lakers, Warriors, and Kings or something. Whatever that really good.
He didn't play the Kings game, I remember.
Well, so that was going to be my point. Ant didn't play in the Atlanta game. Rudy didn't play in the Golden State game. Kat didn't play in the Sacramento game. It's just.
Do we load manage? Is that the Tim Connolly method?
No, it's just that there's so little evidence that this thing works with them together. And we have off-season planning talk further down the show, so I don't want to go right into that if we have more to talk about with the series.
Do we have more to talk about with the series? I feel like we're all just so exhausted from it. Like, oh man, like we could have won maybe 2 more games.
Yeah.
If Kat showed up, we could have won 4 if Nas and Jaden were there. We could have won 7 straight against the Nuggets. We could have murdered them.
Maybe.
If we had Josh Minot in the starting lineup.
I mean, we can keep talking about the series if you guys want, but I feel like everybody understands that this was just an overused term here, but microcosm of the season.
Yeah.
It was just like 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, sometimes 3.
So that's the thing. I was actually thinking that same thing during game 5 last night. like microcosm for the season, because the two big characteristics of this team are like they fight like hell through adversity, but that adversity is always self-inflicted.
Yeah.
Like they're very good at overcoming the shit they did to themselves. And like Jade McDaniels punched a wall and Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a revelation. And like in game 2, like they have this amazing comeback in the second half on the shoulders of Anthony Edwards because they got down by 20 in the first half, turning the ball over all the time. So there's just this whole, like I said, the Knicks game, they come out, they play really hard, they get a great win after they just like shit all over themselves in the Chicago game 2 days before.
Yeah.
Like the up and down was always.
You
like,
sound so tired of this team, Brandon.
I'm hearing I really do.
In your voice.
And I don't have a lot of nice things to say about the offseason.
It's
stuff.
nonsensical.
Oh boy.
It's so hard to talk about nonsense. Like the things that happened to this team and this franchise.
I had fun.
No, I know. There is fun moments for sure. To Beck's point, like the fun comes out of the terror and agony that we go through.
Well,
yeah.
Because, and I mean, this is the thing that bugs me the most about it is, and we're happy because we have a clean slate. This season is over.
I promise we're happy. We're very happy people on this podcast right now.
Like we'll talk about where they go from here in the offseason and all that stuff. And we have very little evidence that this thing works and it's been ugly and bad and all that stuff. But if this team could just be bothered to take a 15-win team seriously, they would have been the 4 seed hosting the fucking Clippers.
So so yeah, what the hell? I had something I was going to say.
I need you to bleep that F-bomb.
Okay.
But don't bleep out.
Can I leave that? Can I leave that statement?
Sure.
So what do we make of that? What do we make? So let's move. That's a natural progression into, should we do off-season talk? That seems like a good bridge to off-season talk, huh?
Sure.
Brandon sounds like a guy that hates the NBA schedule, making him stay up until 1 a.m. every morning.
My favorite part is
exasperated.
that back 10 minutes ago is like the vibes are good, and now he's talking himself into
Okay, then we started
talking.
talking about Cat.
Okay, so the two big experiment. How are we feeling? We're not feeling great about it.
Bad.
I remember what I was going to say. This is the last thing about the two big experiment. When the team is kind of cooking, it looks like it's so hard to get there and so many things have to go right. And when it goes right, and I've said this on the pod numerous times, there's like 5 minutes of like, this is great basketball. This is good stuff. I see the vision. Tim Connolly, you're a madman. And then it just goes away. Anything else you want to say about the two bigs, or should we move on to...
Well, so I have a lot to say about
you're more? Moss?
Yeah, we can talk about this for a little bit.
I mean, we saw like awesome Anthony Edwards this series, but it always felt like he was overcoming this self-inflicted adversity of like this horrendous roster fit of Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns and just these like big guys like getting in his way all the time. And Ant might be good enough to overcome that, but why would we continue to subject him to that? Like, what is the actual likelihood from what we've seen? Like, if you had to assign a percentage chance to it, what is the actual likelihood that this Rudy Cat thing works?
15%.
Like optimistically, like 25%. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Like, is a fully optimized version of this the ideal structure for Anthony Edwards, who we just spent a bunch of time raving about how awesome he is?
It's undeniable at this point that it's his team. Yeah.
So even like, why are we so invested in this like thing that we're acknowledging is like a low likelihood to work? And even if it does work, do we think it's like awesome, or do we think it's like just fine?
I think it could be awesome blossom.
I think it was a quick fix. It was like no research, just like, hey, we need boards. This guy is available and gets boards. Okay, make it happen. Like it I agree to your point. Like it maybe it does work, but does that put you in the caliber that you should be at after making that trade?
Exactly. Like my point is that I don't even see how the version of it working is good enough for the risk you're incurring to just continue to trot out this like
This zombie
this
team.
thing that doesn't really work.
Is this because we never saw Utah Rudy? Because like I've been looking at highlights from Utah. That was a different man. That was a different man who tried very hard and was good.
I think Rudy Gobert. This is the other problem.
But we would make the playoffs without Rudy. I was being kind of harsh on him.
I think
Rudy was a big part of the season. Sorry,
I think
Brandon.
individually, Rudy Gobert was fine this season. I mean, he wasn't. We need to let go of the price we paid to get off him. Sure, we overpaid. Rudy Gobert, the basketball player, for the most part, was fine this season. He was impactful defensively. He wasn't the best defensive player in the world, but he was one of the 10 best defensive centers in the world. And he was good and positively impactful. He rebounded his position well, but he didn't fix the rebounding problem because the rebounding problem was always more about the guards than it was the bigs. Karl Anthony Towns missed 50 games, and when he played, he was mostly good individually. Anthony Edwards was mostly good throughout the season. He was an all-star. He had this amazing playoff run against Denver, but it never all worked at the same time. And I think it's a little foolish to just assume that was an accident. That we just it was really bad luck that they never played well at the same time, because so much of what they do seems to bastardize what the other ones do well. Anthony Edwards clearly doesn't have faith in Rudy Gobert's ability to catch the ball. Rudy Gobert hasn't given him a reason to give him faith in his ability to catch the ball. Anthony Edwards, I know everyone wants us to run a ton of pick and roll and be this super like disciplined play team. Anthony Edwards sucks when you set a screen for him.
I'm confused. Where do I go?
We've got the best screen setter in the world, but that's not the best way to optimize Ant. And Karl Anthony Towns, like theoretically, should be a great 1A spacer shooter. Karl Anthony Towns does not make quick enough decisions.
I wish he would, because when he does, it's great.
Karl Anthony Towns, he always has to catch the ball and survey and pump, jab, dribble, and just like grinds everything to a halt. This is where we're getting to the point, like for offseason planning. I think they're going to run it back. I don't think they should. I think they're going to hide behind the Karl Anthony Towns missed 50 games. I think they're going to hide behind Jaden McDaniels having a broken hand in the series, Naz Reid breaking his wrist. Hot take, I would trade both of them.
I was about to say it's either none or both.
I don't think it's pick one. I don't think they'll do this. I don't think it's pick Rudy, pick Cat. I don't believe in either of them enough.
This man is sleep deprived and angry and cooking with gas right now.
I don't think we talked about it. I don't think Cat is a viable postseason player at this point. I think the sample has gotten too big. I don't trust him defensively enough to be the center by himself of a successful postseason team. And we've just gone through 40 games of seeing that pairing him with a defensive minded center does not optimize him. It negatively impacts the defense. The spacing negatively impacts his offense. That's that. Rudy is fine. He's going to be 31 in the offseason. And I think his trade value
We're going to be 31.
Yeah. I can't play in the NBA.
I'm not, yeah. Not with that attitude.
I don't think Rudy Gobert's trade value is as bad as people think it is.
Yeah.
I know if he ever gets traded, people are going to be mad that we didn't get 5 first-round picks for him. That's kind of the nature of making trades, is you were the team that was willing to give up the most for a guy. And it's like driving a car off the lot.
He's a depreciating asset.
Yeah.
I know that I know that it wasn't what we wanted, but part of the value of the Rudy Gobert trade was we got a full season of Rudy Gobert playing basketball. And that decreases the value of the trade. He wasn't as good as the player we got. So yeah, we're not going to get 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. We definitely could get 1. We might be able to get 2.
We would get 2 for sure.
We would get $40 million worth of players in return, just because that's how math works.
We don't know that.
I just think.
I was in the group chat, in my other group chat, not with you guys, being so positive about the offseason. Now here, it's like I just have nothing to counter these concerns because they're so real. But I'm so blinded by the second half of the
positive is we know.
And
we know now.
So like I said, My problem isn't that I don't think it will work. My problem is I think it's unlikely to work, and I don't even think it working does anything more than prove a point. Like, I don't think there's any way that this is the way to fully optimize a team centered around Anthony Edwards, and that's what you need to do.
So this is my one thing, and it's not enough to counter what you've said, but it's my one thing. It was nice to see, and this is just the second half of game 5, or just game 5 in general. It was nice to see, Cat's asleep, but here's Ant. Oh, now they're going to double up on Ant. Now Cat comes alive. I know Cat could have done more, but it was nice to see that 2-man game work. But at that same time, it's like, well, where's Rudy there? Yeah. I mean, he was 15 and 16, which is great. That's all Rudy needs to do. Rudy, if you're listening, please, we don't need you to score. Yeah. Put up 2 points, 15 boards, 2 blocks every game, and we will love you. And try hard. Yeah. But that's my only thing. Like, that was kind of gave me some promise, but it's not enough to overcome just, again, how difficult it is to get there. And that's just so frustrating.
That's the thing, though. So you're right. Anthony Edwards going off, then they start showing 2, showing 3 at him. And Karl Anthony Towns took advantage of that. There's a lot of NBA players that can take advantage of that. And I think that's the problem. If that's what you need to get like a semi-effective Karl Anthony Towns in the postseason, he's just not good enough. And I think Karl Anthony Towns is a terrific basketball player, but it's getting really, really hard to defend the idea that he's a viable player in the postseason.
Oh, I don't think anyone's defending that. I think it's just...
And if he's not, then you just have to move on. Because you have an opportunity with Anthony Edwards that just like, you don't get these opportunities all the time. They took a big swing on Rudy Gobert. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Keep trying shit.
Yeah, like the Sixers. Just keep trading. So who else has done that?
So the Sixers are actually a great example. The Sixers, 4 or 5 years ago, the Sixers had Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris, and Jimmy Butler had just left as a free agent. They had all this money to spend, and they went out and they gave a max contract to Al Horford. And they tried 2 centers with Al Horford and Joel Embiid, and Ben Simmons was the point guard, and Tobias Harris was a small forward.
Small ball is
and
dead.
Guess what? It sucked. They were terrible. And you know what they did in the offseason? They traded Al Horford immediately. 1 year. They were like, this ain't it. And guess what? Now, 3 years later, the 76ers still have Joel Embiid, and they're awesome.
Are they awesome?
I mean, not awesome like cool. Awesome like good.
I don't want to watch 76ers basketball.
Yeah, but they're good.
Yeah. Do you want to be subjected to that? Do you like winning or do you like having fun? Personally, I like having fun.
I think we drastically underrate how much fun winning is.
You don't know what you don't have.
Durf, do you have any thoughts about Cat and this whole debacle? We've been letting Brandon cook because I feel like it's a lot of stuff that we don't want to say because I feel like we're generally positive on Cat Pod, but... These are things that have to be said.
I want to be... I love Karl Anthony Towns. I don't think he's a bad dude, or like, I hate like the people that go after him because like the weird cringy quotes and stuff. Yeah. Or like treat it as like some character flaw.
Yeah.
That he's
this is purely
struggled
basketball.
In the postseason. I just think you have to acknowledge the reality of what he's shown himself to be.
Mm-hmm. I have no counter to that because... shit, man. Fear is the mind killer only works when the season's happening. And it's not. Should we move into
favorite season moments?
Yeah.
Can I respond to Beck's thing? Or?
Yeah. Well, I thought we had to do off-season like potential things we want.
You just said, do you have any counter to Beck?
Yeah,
and then Beck continued talking, and then you were like, all right, let's move on.
My bad, Durf. Do you have anything to counter?
Yeah, I just was going to say like...
yeah, I got something to say.
I have like a paragraph of notes. I mean, a lot of it's what Beck has already said, but I want to say it too. It's what's going to happen is nothing. What if they were gonna do something? It's probably Cat, because I just feel like Tim Connolly's not gonna punt on his biggest move. He makes a massive move like that, and a season later, I just think that hubris is gonna get it way too.
It's unfortunate.
So I don't think that's gonna happen. If something did happen, I think it's Cat. I think that if I were choosing, I would choose to keep Cat and move Rudy. And I think, to Beck's point, a perfect scenario would be them just punting on both. I completely agree with that. I think you can get productive.
You get a lot of stuff.
You can get a lot of stuff. You get a ton of cap space. You can build towards Ant. I don't know if you guys listened to Dane Moore's podcast today, but him, Chris and Jace were on, and they were talking about, I think, at one point I was listening to it and I was like, it really sounds like Dane is speaking directly to Tim Connolly, because he goes on, he starts being like, you do this, you need to do, and I was like, honestly, Cook, Dane, like he's basically just like, he's pleading to the organization, like, you try to do this thing where you have two timelines that are staggered. You have Cat's timeline and you have Ant's timeline. And I'm sorry to cherry pick this point, but I think it's a really good point, is that they've been trying to appease both and be like, we kind of are in a win now mode because of Cat's timeline, but that's not necessarily where Ant is. Ant's still on the incline. He's still just he's now showing that he has that next level. And we gotta take a couple steps back. It just wasn't the time, and it wasn't the move.
I said this last episode, as much shit as I give Tim Connolly, I do, in the moments where it's working, I'm like, holy shit, double timeline, two bigs, look at this man. But again, it's just so hard to get there. And also, like, we saw Jaden step up offensively, and it's okay to take a step back if we had picks. And this year we have a pick.
I'm not
or next
second round pick.
Yeah.
We have a second round pick.
Or when's our next season?
Yeah,
our next offseason we have a first round pick. So next season we can be bad and get a pick next season.
They went
strategic tanking.
They went 42-40 this year. Like, they're going to get players back if they trade Karl Anthony. If they were to trade Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, they would get players back. And Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels would be a year older. Is it really a step back? Like, do we think that team can't go 500?
I think they could.
They absolutely could.
Like, you'd be punting on the idea of whatever the ceiling of this, like,
it's just
this like three max players, Cat, Rudy, Ant thing is. I don't think it's hubris on Tim Connolly's part that's going to keep him from making a trade. I think it's just a fact that Tim Connolly's the one that he made this trade because he believes in it. So he's going to look at things from we don't have a big enough sample size. We don't have enough time, because he's coming from a place of thinking it will work.
Mm-hmm.
Other people who doubted it from the start are seeing pretty much all the data. It's not a lot of data, but the data we have proved those people right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a tad hubris. It's every GM, because if you make a deal, you're like, well, I saw the benefit and whatever. But I just wish that he could see this as like a third party and be like, oh, shoot. Let's start over.
My only thing, and this is just an emotional point, it makes me, when you have a guy like Cat stick around with an organization for this long, with an organization that's been as cursed for as long as we have, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth to move off of that. You know, I think you should, Cat should only go if he wants to go. And if he wants to go, he can go. But again, he is probably our most valuable trade piece. So it's like, and at a certain point,
Ant is our most valuable trade but we're not going to trade him.
Yeah. So let's say Gobert and Cat are on the block and we trade one or both of them. What are you guys looking for in return? Maybe if you have player names, that would be great. But at least, like, what are some player archetypes that you'd like to see filled by
5
Gobert?
first round picks.
I don't really. I don't care about picks.
I know.
I want
draft
players.
Picks.
But picks could be anything.
I would rather have the value come back in player form. I mean, it's two very different things when you're talking about Cat and Rudy. I mean, as much as I just said, I think Rudy Gobert's trade value is higher than people think it is. It's not as high as Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, you're getting like legitimate, like, not like foundation level to like the Ant Jaden, but like second tier foundation level players.
He's a guy. He's not the guy.
You're getting a guy, at least one guy back who is making $25+ million, and you don't hate that you're paying them that.
Yeah. So I'm a big, we need a point guard after the Conley era is done, because he's got like 1 or 2 years left. And I would like a guy that can just run around like crazy and like just pop threes.
So that's like, of the teams that are like theoretical Cat destinations, it's Toronto, it's the Knicks, it's the Clippers, it's Portland.
There's always Nets steam with Cat, because
everyone wants to think we can get Mikal Bridges
I'm not
for
sure
Karl
we
Anthony
can,
Towns.
because
We can't get
Mikal's
Mikal
awesome.
Bridges for him.
Yeah, but we
and
want
we're not taking the Ben Simmons contract in a cat trade.
I believe in Ben Simmons. I think Minnesota passive aggressive nice would be great for him.
You think that's going to heal his back?
Yeah, because we're generally nice.
My favorite
Yeah.
part is that you brought this up sporadically in the group chat, and finally, I didn't know you didn't know how much he was making per year.
I
had no
said
idea.
his salary, and you were like, "What?"
This whole time when he kept bringing it up, I was like, "What?"
I
Ben
forgot.
Simmons is making $40 million a year, and he's getting
Immediately-
DNP coaches' decisions.
Charlie's immediately like, "Oh, I did
I'm
not
like,
know that."
Whoopsies. Well, there's going to be a hell of a sweetener to take that contract, like Mikal Bridges.
I think the step. I mean, if they
That'd be
can get
great.
Mikal Bridges in
You
a
gotta
Karl
do it.
Anthony Towns trade, and they have to take Ben Simmons back, like you probably have to do it because Mikal Bridges is probably better than Cat. Like just like straight up contract value aside, like. I don't know if I would just if I were Brooklyn, I don't know if I would trade Mikal Bridges 1-for-1.
Why do people say that? Because I wouldn't either.
I don't think I don't think I would.
Well,
'cause he's
people
better.
are saying like Mikal Bridges is going to get traded this summer from the Nets.
Well, because I think there's a chance they would because the Nets are kind of just like
They need more
directionless
Yeah.
right now. Like I think Mikal Bridges is an
they
awesome
stumbled into an
player.
awesome player. Yeah, why wouldn't you just
But-
build around him?
Well, because I don't think you can build something that good around him. I think
because he's probably in that Cat tier, right?
Okay.
Where he's not a
But,
true star.
okay, so
I think-
let's-
I
back
think
to the
that's
trade.
just-
No
I
more
think that's
Mikal
like
Bridges.
pie in
All
the sky.
stars, right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about like point guard that's running around popping threes, like Emmanuel Quickly
Yeah.
from the Knicks. The Knicks thing is always weird to me though, because like I don't know why Tom Thibodeau would want Karl Anthony Towns, because Tom Thibodeau hated Karl Anthony Towns, and I watch what the Knicks do right now, and I cannot put Karl Anthony Towns in that scenario and see it not making things worse.
Also, turn off the lights. Like,
Yeah,
you're playing at MSG every night. I don't know if he can handle that.
So
Is Brooklyn a potential Cat destination? Because they need like a center type guy.
Brooklyn, no, they got Nick Claxton. I think the team
No, sorry, Boston.
Boston, they've always been kind of a Cat link destination thing. It's impossible to know. Toronto is an obvious one because Toronto hasn't had a center for like ever. If they could get OG Anunoby as like the foundation, as like the centerpiece of a Cat trade, I would take that. I think like a big defensive
He's
minded
that
wing.
good for.
I mean, he wouldn't be 1-for-1. It
Yeah.
would be. He would be. I'm talking about who's the best player you're
Okay.
getting back.
I want the package for the Raptors. Tell me what it would be.
It's impossible.
With all
to
the
know.
trade-
They have
yeah.
so many. They have so many free agents right now because like Fred VanVleet is going to be a free agent, and Gary Trent's a free agent, and Jakob Poeltl's a free agent, and
Mhm.
but like theoretically, it would be Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and some sort of picks compensation.
Okay.
As the idea.
I don't hate that.
I think the Clippers make a lot of sense. Cat and PG are like best friends.
Do we get Kawhi?
No, I do not
Come on.
want Kawhi Leonard.
Is that sad?
That sucks.
Maybe he doesn't like the big city thing. Maybe he needs like a more Toronto
his
adjacent
meniscus
place.
is torn.
Yeah, but
yeah, because of the big city.
but it's because of the big city,
Those
Brandon.
potholes they don't have.
Yeah.
I think like Norm Powell, Terrence Mann, they don't have like as good a player as OG Anunoby, but you're probably getting more picks in that scenario. And they have like lots of good role players. But I do think you have to be careful if you're trading a player of Karl Anthony Towns caliber to not be getting like a guy
Mhm.
in the deal. Like, I don't think you want to just break it up into all role
Here's a bunch of
players.
$12 to $15 million.
Yeah.
You want
I think you want a guy. I think you want at least
you
one
want a guy. You want a
need a
guy
piece.
guy.
Like at least one
Not
guy
like
you
a
can hang your
guy,
hat
yeah,
on.
but a guy.
Yeah.
A guy.
And that's like,
A
I think OG
foundational piece.
Anunoby is like right on that level.
Yeah, I agree.
What about John Collins? You know,
Yeah. Both the
No,
cat.
that's just a nod to the every single year perennially he's in
There-
trade discussion.
There's always a Trae Young Wolves jersey swap on my timeline, and I just don't like it.
There's always a
Vomit
Luka
emoji.
Doncic Wolves.
Who does that?
That's
Yes.
not unrealistic.
Yeah, I'm about to block this
Yeah,
tweeter.
I think Dallas would definitely want Cat. Dallas doesn't have any good players other than Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, so no thank you.
I do not want. You don't
What
want
about
Luka?
Well,
JJ
they're not going
Barea?
to trade Luka for
What if
Cat.
Luka's so mad?
Cat for JJ Barea straight up.
Well, JJ Barea is retired.
Yeah.
I thought he died.
So you doing the deal?
You thought he died?
no. I think it's a funny
That's
joke.
a funny joke to make.
Yeah.
And then the Rudy one, like Rudy to Atlanta makes so much sense.
So for John Collins, who does Atlanta have? Let's talk about it.
I thought John Collins and DeJounte Murray until DeJounte Murray kind of fight with a ref.
Yeah, I don't like that guy.
DeAndre Hunter, Clint Capella. I know we want to get away from just like, I think if you traded Cat and Rudy, and in the Rudy trade, you got Clint Capella back, that would make a lot of sense next to
How about this guy? Say this.
Vit Krejci?
Yeah.
I don't think he plays on Atlanta.
I typed in Atlanta Hawks roster and look at Vit Krejci.
Yeah, well, he used to play for the Thunder. We don't want Vit Krejci.
What? He scored 11 points and 10 rebounds and 5 assists and 1 block in 32 minutes in a game over Lakeland. This is a G League.
Over Lakeland?
this is a G League thing. He is not in the NBA actively.
I think that's by Stillwater.
He was NBA 2020 draft round 2 pick 37.
But yeah, I've been kind of dominating this conversation. What are your guys' thoughts?
Vit Krejci is the guy.
Sally wants Vit Krejci. Do the jersey swap.
I got a Krejci agenda. That's a funny bit.
You have to do that.
I got to do that. I agree with it's hard to know what the values are, man.
Oh no! Reboot him.
Take your hair and hygiene to the next level with Duke Cannon. I don't know. I like the idea of a Toronto trade. I think that's the best partner. I like, a Gary Trent Jr. type thing. And was it a player option or is he unrestricted?
He's going to be a free agent, but they could
sign and
trade thing with like Gary Trent Jr. And is Pascal Siakam like an option or do we not want that?
Well, we want that, but Pascal Siakam is better than Karl Anthony Towns.
I also like the number 43. The Wolves haven't had a good number 43.
Pascal Siakam is going to probably be all NBA.
Okay, but how many second round picks do we have to throw in to get Siakam?
Yeah. We have
40 second round picks?
All the second round picks we got in the D'Lo Conley.
Hang on. We're glossing over this. We need more weird numbers on the Timberwolves. We had a lot of number 23s,
what about
1s, 27, 32. These are common. 43. 32 is common. It's Michael Jordan backwards. I see 32s a lot.
That's not a number.
I want a number 43. Do we have a 43 in Wolves history?
Anthony Tolliver, was he 43?
No.
Hang on. I'm typing in
Michael Doliak.
Did he play for the Timberwolves?
Michael Doliak? Yeah, he did.
Hang on. Number 43, 2 players. Chris Carr and Anthony Tolliver.
I knew it.
Okay. Let's see. Oops, I played a too short ad. Let's see. The weirdest number in Timberwolves history 67,
Taj Gibson.
No, 88.
That's such a good number.
Bielitsa was weird.
No, if they're the same number, it's less weird than
but 88's weird.
But it's not weirder than 67.
I think 67's weirder.
There's
something about even numbers.
Just
double
because
even
you like
numbers.
it doesn't make it not weird.
Yeah, no, but it's sequential.
You like weird
it's
stuff.
sequential.
Like 88.
Name 3 weird things I like, Brandon. You levy these weird things against me. And the Kit guy, you can't say that guy.
Vit.
I love
Vit Krejci.
Yeah, you can't say Vit Krejci because that's real. It might be 67. My computer froze. Won't let me go back to it.
Durf, your thoughts
on the weirdest number ever worn. 51.
You can talk about the number. What are you? What are your targets in the off season? What do you want them to do?
I don't know, man. I already said I want both centers gone. I don't want a center on this team. I don't want anyone over
centers.
Over 6'8". We tried all centers. Now I want no centers. I told you guys I want to flip the lineups. I want the front court to play back court to play front court.
Did you watch? You must have watched the most recent episode of Ted Lasso.
Exactly.
All right.
No, I don't know the trade. I don't know the trade values. That's where I lean into you, Beck. I said before, what's going to happen is nothing, and we're going to try to we're going to try to make moves around the margins. But as I said before, I would like to just punt on both and kidnap Walker Kessler from Utah and play center for us.
I have a hard time trusting Tim Connolly with big moves. I do trust him for the marginal moves.
Yeah, maybe we need 2 GMs.
Yeah, Sasha
like a Michael Scott, Jim Halpert thing.
Yes.
Some guy handles the big picture. A guy handles the day-to-day.
We're taking kind of a long time to get through the show sheet. Should we do an ad read here and then go into favorite season moments and possibly Wolves Twitter shoutouts?
What a good transition.
And the over-under recap. Do we like this plan?
We can do it, yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Jordan, edit this in post-prod. Okay, I have a number 1 and a number 2 behind my back. Guess
Two.
You want to do 2? Okay, Jimmy's Dips time. James Dipperton, 600 years ago, came from Australia to America to start dips. That's not true. Jimmy's Dips, Stewartsville, Minnesota. They make
Dips.
They make dips. They make caramel. They also make coleslaw, baby. It's
Coleslaw.
It's officially slaw season. Even though the weather got cold again, it's we're in slaw season territory. So don't sleep on the slaw. It deserves a place at the table at your picnic. There's nothing better than mix in your hot burger with melted cheese with some cool crisp Jimmy slaw on the side of the paper plate. Get your coleslaw from Jimmy's at Cub or Hy-Vee. They also got salad dressing and dips. Don't you be messing with my dressing. If you mess with the dressing, I am going to treat you the way I treated Rudy Gobert on Twitter in December, which is not very nice.
You were mean.
I was a mean guy. And then he adopted a cat and it was great.
He adopted cat.
I can't believe it.
You didn't hear?
It's a very cute thing. Carl Sr. is really sad about it. Let's see here. Favorite season moments. Let's turn this into an optimistic pod because this has been a bit of a slog, I feel like, all of a sudden. Favorite season moments. I just picked the ones that came right to my head.
How many do you have? I have 8.
3. I narrowed mine to 3. My first one is the Rudy Kyle kiss. That's my number one.
I don't have that one.
It was just so great and unexpected and just weird and memeable that I was like, yes, Rudy Kyle kiss was amazing. Durf, you give us one of your moments. We'll just go around the table and we'll just go, whoa, yeah, I had that one too.
Nas Reed hitting that end of regulation 3 with 0.2 seconds left on 0.3 seconds left.
What happened in the rest of that game? I think it was like
that's why I specifically said that moment.
No, I wasn't mocking you. I was just saying like, I never saw the end of that
we probably won.
With all that momentum, we definitely won.
Let's just assume that.
All right. Well, I can do in like line with your Kyle Anderson kiss one. One of my favorite moments was having Kyle Anderson.
Yes. It was a surprise coming from you.
Just a tremendous experience. Proud, practicing slow-mo-sexual, and can't wait to run back. I hope his eyes are okay.
Yeah, that was kind of, you don't want to hear about an eye injury.
Yeah. But next year, goggles, slow-mo.
Rec specs.
Actually, in NBA Live 2001, you could add a bionic eye to a player. And it was awesome.
Oh my God.
The graphics were bad, but that shit was cool. Did you guys get the Slomosexual C&D NBA shirt?
Not yet.
Jake Scraff collab.
It'll happen.
I got it, and boy, howdy, is it a great shirt. Jake Scraff's recently got we were talking about shirt qualities off the pod. Recently started doing Comfort Colors, which is a nice high quality shirt printer place. So I appreciate that, Jake Scraps. Nice. I see you with the Comfort Colors, and I loved it. The Nas game-winning dunk for Golden State was amazing. I just love how it was. We use the word microcosm a lot, just like the missed 3. Like, oh, God damn it. It's like, oh, fuck, he has the rebound. Ah! That shit was amazing. Durf.
Mine is Kyle Anderson adjacent as well. Kyle Anderson's facial expressions in those moment he's bringing up the ball, he's bringing up the ball and he just like sticks out his tongue or he's like those crazy. Come on, he's just a goofy
the classic
dude.
Kyle Anderson rebound, yelling at everyone to come on, run on offense.
Yeah, that was so
Kyle.
funny. What a character,
Brandon.
All right, this one's a recent one.
Mm-hmm.
Nikhil Alexander Walker has gorilla nuts.
That shit was great.
That's how we're opening every show.
That was amazing. My next one is also a Golden State one. Cat hitting the D-Lo transition 3 to win the game was
one of mine. Special moment.
And again, Kyle
one of
Anderson.
the most memorable moments of Cat's career in a Timberwolves jersey.
You think so?
I think whenever Cat's Timberwolves career is over, that will definitely be on the highlight reel.
That was so sick. Again, Kyle Anderson. Boop, boop, boop. Durf, give us another one. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, that's him running. Boop, boop. That's him tipping and running.
Rudy absolutely smearing the refs in his post game.
That
was so good, dude.
Is it still up in your office?
Yeah, it is. I turned it back around. After we figured out that wasn't an issue between him and Kyle Anderson, I was like, okay, he can.
Shout out to future guests on the pod, Chris Hine of the Star Tribune, for getting that nugget and that interior design stuff for Durf. Brandon, this is fun. I'm having lots of fun.
This one is probably my actual number one favorite moment of the season. Trading D'Angelo Russell for Mike Conley. Just going from a player that I really just don't like watching to a player that I love watching.
Yeah.
It was a it was a big moment in my house.
I'm gonna do a D'Angelo Russell moment because he still played for the team this year, and he did provide us with some great moments, especially in like November, December. What was the game where he hit like 6 threes in a row to bring us back in? What was that one?
So
Wasn't he like
the Toronto game?
Is that what that was?
I think so. He did it twice. He did it
It was like a week where he was just
He did it against
heater.
Toronto at home, and he did it against Utah on the road.
Yeah, the Utah one was great.
So the Toronto one, when I was going through this, I was trying to think of like what some of my favorite moments of the season were. The D'Angelo Russell epic comeback against Toronto. I had that game DVR'd, but my power went
I
out
forgot about this.
at halftime.
No.
And so I couldn't watch the second half of that game because this DVR stopped recording.
No.
So I was watching the game at halftime, and then it like got to halftime, and I fast forward, and all of a sudden everything froze and shut off.
So you never saw the heater. Is that why you hate
I missed
D'Angelo? It was
No,
great.
It was well after I hated D'Angelo.
That shit was crazy. And that's again the intoxicating stuff that I was talking about a couple episodes ago.
He went on the heater in the last game. He was terrible in the Lakers last game. And then he just did his classic D'Angelo Russell 3 possessions in a row, 3-pointer, 3-pointer, 3-pointer. They're back in the game.
classic.
And then he fouled out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen very often. Durf, what's another moment? I'll just keep going. I'm off my list. I'm just freeballing now.
I have 4 more.
Nice.
I think probably Naz Reid.
Yeah,
Naz Reid. That'll be a good lead into our over-unders review later.
Oh yeah.
The next one for me, the play-in versus Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of a cathartic exorcism of lots of demons.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were dreading the idea. We talked about like, is this the floor of this team? Well, actually the floor of this team was that they lost that game and missed the playoffs altogether.
Yep.
And we were that game going into it felt more like they better not F this up.
Yeah.
And it was just to win it in the convincing manner that they did, just like really was a relaxing, cathartic moment. I
Great
think,
for the
a lot of
vibes.
us.
We were
Yeah.
on fire. I had one last one. Oh yeah, finding out that Kat's cod name is not kidding around. It was just great. It was just good stuff from that man. Durf, you have any more, or is it all Brandon from here on out? I feel like we're missing so many.
Michael Grady.
Michael Grady.
That's a great one.
Man.
I missed that one.
We didn't. If we only knew.
If only they knew.
What? He's just great. Dude.
He's so good.
He's just so good.
On top of being
dearly
good at his
beloved.
job, he's just cool too.
Yeah.
He's a
I know.
cool guy. The Dearly Beloved was a great call. Respect the Hay. Great bit.
All right. Next for me,
All right.
I have the Ant playoff performance.
All the Ant blocks is one of mine.
The blocks, the offense, just like I said at the beginning of the show, the validation that what we saw against Memphis last year was real.
Yeah.
And that we can really believe in this guy. I think that was very special.
I was trying to make a graph. Sorry to impede on your territory, Jake's graphs. Last
Oh
night
my
about
God.
He has
like
a trademark on graph.
I know he owns it. We have to pay him for saying it 3 times already.
And he
Graph,
comes
graph,
out-
graph,
and-
graph,
and-
graph,
no, and he comes out of the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
You say Jake's graphs 3 times.
But like the like the number of times I say wow during a basketball game and Anthony Edwards playing in said basketball game, like it's just I catch myself so frequently like watching him play and just being like, wow, whoa,
that was intense. That scared me.
I know I said that game 3 was kind of a soulless experience, except for when Anthony
The chase down
Edwards
block.
had the chase down block
Mhm.
followed by the Euro step into the layup.
yeah,
That was like
it was so hot.
That was.
it
Remember
was-
when you did that?
that was awesome. That was like at that moment it felt like, oh my gosh, Anthony Edwards just saved the season.
Yeah. Especially after like the cat turnover.
Yeah.
You want to go through your last 2, Brandon?
Yeah, so my last 2, this one's a weirdly specific one. We were at this game, Durf and I, January 14th versus the Cavs. For my money, the best win of the season. They just played extremely well.
Yeah.
Rudy got hurt really early in that one, and it was a crazy Luka Garza, Naz Reid performance.
right.
Yeah, it was.
It was the full strength Cavs, like Darius Garland, Donovan
Ricky
Mitchell,
Rubio.
Evan Mobley, Jared Allen. Ricky Rubio had just come back.
So we were ready.
And like, it wasn't like that the Cavs played that poorly. The Wolves just dominated the game. And that at that moment, it was like, oh my gosh, like, here they go. But they never really went.
Sidebar. Do we need someone that's played with Ant, Rudy, and Kat to be a backup point guard?
Ricky Rubio has been so bad.
I know,
this
it's
year.
not sad, but for vibes would be just incredible.
Maybe he can be a coach, but 2 knee surgeries. He's in his mid-30s. I love Ricky Rubio. I think it's over.
I think we sign him. It's Jover.
It's Jover.
I think
It's Ricky Rubio over.
I think we sign him to a 1 day and retire his jersey.
They're not going to retire Ricky Rubio's jersey.
Why not?
Because he was never on a good basketball team.
Why not?
Go work for the Wolves. Work your way up.
They
until
haven't
you have-
retired Kevin Garnett's number.
They're not
yet.
going to have the team store guy, team score t-shirt guy into the front office. Tim Connolly, I'll do it though.
Okay. And then this is my last
one
one,
more.
and I think it leads us
Last
into.
one.
I think it leads us into the Wolves Twitter.
Okay,
talk.
before you
Oh,
say
we're
that
going
one,
to do that
then,
because we're running
my,
long.
my last one
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you have one more? I thought you were done.
is
My bad.
one Luka Garza.
Okay.
Continue.
Tuck it into your pants, dude.
Sorry, you weren't supposed to see that.
My
Throbbing over
last
here.
one is specifically the Wolves Things bracket and the Wolves 285 were a lot of fun, I think.
I like doing this podcast with you guys.
The podcast was fun. Do we want to just do Wolves Twitter draft?
Let's do
Wolves
that.
Twitter stuff later.
Let's do that later so we can.
so we don't have to fly through it.
Yeah, well, because like, there's a lot of good stuff. I want to do that with maybe one of our off-season episodes.
All right. Wolves over under review. Do you have an
Yeah.
ad read?
We'll do the ad read before our wow.
Okay. So for those of you who are
Some new listeners.
newer to the show, this was on our first ever episode of Crunch Wears No Pants. It was the preseason, and we prepared 15 over-under prop bets.
It was a lot of over-unders.
It was a lot
the
of
segment went long, and that's been a trend
The
for the show.
segment went
ever
over.
Yes.
And they weren't like typical over-unders. They weren't like wins or anything like that. They were weird things like how many dunks is Jordan McLaughlin going to get? Spoiler alert, the under hit on that one. And we all went through. We picked over-under on them as hosts. We also put out a Twitter polls for all of them and had our listeners vote on them. And the listeners was just for fun. The rule is whoever had the most of the over-unders will get a throwback Timberwolves jersey of the choosing of the 2 losers, and they have to buy it for them. So
I forgot about the wager.
Durf and Jally do not know the results.
We do not.
So we are revealing them.
do?
Does Beck?
I have them
cheated.
prepped. All right.
Yes.
So we can just go one by one.
Give it to me, Daddy.
The first over-under was Rudy Gobert 3-pointers.
I was so close to hitting this one.
Over-under was 0.5, and Rudy Gobert was like an
So
inch
close.
away in game
In game
one.
one, and I said that it was. I said it would be at end of the quarter heave, and it would.
It was
almost
so
happen.
close.
Shit.
He also attempted that one in the Bucks game.
Yeah.
He airballed. Hilarious.
Great bit. Rudy is so fucking funny.
The over-under was 0.5. The actual number was 0. The under hit on that one. I took the under. Durf and Jally both took the overs. The listeners took the overs. So score 1 for me on that one.
Wow.
Wow, tooting his own horn.
I can't believe us and the listeners were like, yeah. I think it's just I think it was around that time where like there was like a practice video of like
Yeah.
Rudy and Kat,
Yeah,
and Rudy was
And
like
he was
knocking
like
him
kind of
down.
shooting in Eurobasket.
Yeah.
Like not
Yeah, he
threes,
was
but
kinda
like
doing those like
the Rudy turnaround in like game 3.
Ugh.
It was so
Art.
funny.
Art. All right, keep going. Also, the Rudy turnaround in the Kings game is also one of my favorite moments. Just how ugly. Rudy's backless bag is amazing. Okay, back to the over-unders.
The next one was Jordan McLaughlin dunks. We were ambitious with this one. The over-under was 4.5.
what do you get?
His
Two?
career, and this was not out of line.
This is
from
based
his,
in reality.
Yeah, this was not out of line from his career. But he had 0 this
it
season.
really?
He missed a lot of time with the calf injury.
Yeah.
Was kind of out of the rotation towards the end of the year. So I took the over on that one. L for me. The 2 of you plus the listeners all took the under. Congratulations. Point for you guys.
Yeah,
Averaged
listeners.
The next one, this was a close one. D'Lo hairstyles. We set the over-under at 4.5. The actual number was 4.
Damn. So we didn't count like variations of like dreads up or down. Like are those different? Okay.
So the hairstyles were LA Rams.
I don't like that one. He always played bad with the Rams.
Floppy braids. That's when he has like the braids in the headband.
I love the floppy
messy
braids.
bun.
Messy bun's the best.
Is the back, and Lonnie Walker, the messy bun on the top.
Yes.
Yep.
Those were the the 4 hairstyles. And so Jally, you and I both took the under on that one. I believe your rationale was he's a father now and doesn't have time.
Yes. Yes.
And you said shaved head.
I said he might shave his head.
For the playoffs, if I remember.
For the playoffs,
yep. Dude, if D'Lo did that, I would be like, that would be great.
And then Durf, you took the over.
Sad.
The listeners took the under. So that is points for Jally and I.
So the score is 2-1, 2-2.
I'll reveal the score at the end. You don't have to keep track.
Good. My brain hurt.
The next one.
Can't remember all this shit.
The next one was Nas Reed games. And we described Nas Reed games as it's like porn. You know it when you see it.
Yeah.
The over-under for Nas Reed games was set at 7.5. We didn't think Nas Reed was going to play very much. The actual count of Nas Reed games was 10.
He had a lot of
10
games.
Nas Reed games. The only people to take the over on Nas Reed games were the listeners. We did not believe. We all took the under.
Dude.
L for us. As
Panty
a podcast.
Nation.
Pretty sure we wanted to take the over, but Beck talked us out of it. He was like, he's not going to play.
Well, I mean, he was right the first month he didn't really play.
Yeah,
but he wasn't
Na-
right, though.
Dude, Panty Nation is so smart and hot.
So hot.
So hot and smart.
So hot.
Heart. Hot smart.
All right, the next one.
God damn it, Durf. Not Durf. Brandon. Laugh at my shit.
We don't know if
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Come on, hurry up.
Hey, go.
Next over under.
Hey, here, 1, 2, 3. Come on. Okay.
The next over under was Ant posters. We set this number at 7.5.
You don't have that.
Ant hit the over on January 27th, and I stopped counting.
We had that many posts.
So
I
he hit
guess,
20.
He had
7,
2 in
so-
one game, the Rockets game. That really vaulted him into it.
Poor Sanguine.
And congratulations to us and the listeners. We all took the over. We believed in Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, we smoking that shit.
The next one was cat cringe quotes. This one was looking dicey in the middle of the season. The number was 5.5. Cat was MIA for like 3 months, and he was sitting at one cringe quote. It was, I know y'all think it's funny when he's up here talking about Popeyes and all that shit. That doesn't make me happy to hear. And we thought the cat was just going to disappear and we weren't going to get any more cat cringe quotes. And then the Atlanta game happened.
He came back and he had 5 within the interview.
Very efficient.
And so the over hit on cat cringe quotes at 6. Durf, you and I hit on that over. Jally, you took the under.
I was believing in him.
And the listeners took the over. The next one was players to play at least 1 minute. The over-under was set at 18.5.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys know what the final number on this one was?
I'm trying to think.
I'm
So
going to say
we hit
17.
We hit all 12 on the roster, plus D'Lo 13, plus Knopf 14. I think it's the under. I think it's 17.
The actual number was 20.
Really?
The full roster is 17 guys. So we had 17 guys. We had 1 game from AJ Lawson.
I forgot about the
I
AJ
did
Lawson
not know
game.
And
Everyone cheered.
D'Angelo Russell for Mike Conley and Nikhil Alexander Walker
Mm-hmm.
was 19 and 20.
And then Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan is one of the 17. The two-way
He was
contracts
saying
count.
on top of the
But
17.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
So the roster is...
but he was a late addition after.
Well, but it was
after
AJ.
Lawson.
He replaced AJ Lawson.
Still counts as a +1.
Well, then AJ Lawson is part of the 17 originally.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter.
No, I want to know which
I like
you're
this way
counting.
better. Also, hot take, we got to bring back Matt Ryan. I like his bench swag.
Okay. Durf, you and I both took the under on that one. We didn't believe they were going to have the ammo to make trades,
Yep, that's true.
and they made 1 trade, and that pushed it to the over. Jally, you took the over.
Hell yeah, because I'm fucking
Congratulations.
smart, dude. What's
Congrats.
cracking? Matt Ryan.
The next one was D'Lo no-look assists to Jordan McLaughlin. The
Oops.
classic backdoor cut. D'Lo no-look assist to Jordan McLaughlin. That
miss
number was 7.5. There
There's
was
1?
2.
Yeah.
And so congratulations, Jally. You and I took the under.
We're so
Durf
smart.
and the listeners took the over.
Dude, this is a Matt Ryan-esque performance from me. Super smart, super fun.
The next three were specific to our Twitter behavior. And we, like, the person who it is about was exempt from choosing over or under on this because they had control over it. So the first one
I can't believe Durf Ted cruised 16 times, which is when you like a porn account.
Yeah.
And then you go, that wasn't me, that was an intern, that was an intern. You did that 16 times.
So the first one was Brandon tweets that Jordan McLaughlin is the greatest point guard of all time. The over-under was 9.5. Amazingly, with how terrible Jordan McLaughlin was in the second half, and he missed a huge chunk of games, this one was close. 7.
Damn. What do we take? What do me and Durf take?
Durf took the over. Jally took the under.
Because I'm smart.
Congratulations, Jally.
bad.
This is a good run for you. That's 3 in a row.
I am the Matt Ryan of this podcast.
The next one, for listeners
this
unfamiliar, he has switched his affinity to Luka Garza, but Durf was a Greg Monroe super stan at one point. Number of times Durf tweets about Greg Monroe. The over-under is 9.5. Gentlemen, what do you think the actual number was?
I think he hit it. Do replies count?
The actual number was 0.
You didn't tweet shit about Greg Monroe this year?
I responded
I tried
to Jeremy.
I tried to bait one out of you one time and you just liked it.
Jeremy got some preguntas, I swear, tweeted at us and was like, it's time.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him. And I think I just said, like,
Yeah.
You didn't actually type
I think
Greg
I was
Monroe.
like, hell yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I referred to it, but I didn't say it.
Yeah, because the way I looked these up is I searched for our usernames and like
When did you do this?
keyword.
Because I probably
yesterday.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
The next one is Jally tweets about fear being the mind killer. The over-under was 49 and a half.
I crushed it. I think it's over.
I got to 50 and I stopped counting.
And that was in December.
Yeah, it was a lot.
What was it? Me saying it? Also my replies. My replies are pretty
any
big.
like reference to fear being the mind killer. So yeah, your replies counted.
Okay, so when you said, were you?
I baited a couple out of you because I had the over, so I tried to bait a couple out of you.
Yeah, the goose.
Yeah, but
the goose.
You were. It did
Don't
not
goose,
matter.
my
It did
friend.
not matter because it was.
It was probably 50 in the
It
last
would have
2
been.
weeks.
You probably had like 70.
People, especially like near the end of the series, like fear's a mind killer, Jally. I'm like, hell yeah.
Your retweets didn't count. It was
Okay.
just tweets.
Someone said that at the Wolves game, and I really appreciated that. Whoever you are, I love you.
Everyone took the over on that one.
So who gets the jersey?
It's not done yet. We have 4 more.
What the fuck, really?
The next one was the president of basketball operations hooks up with the head of PR.
Yeah.
The over-under was 0.5. That number was 0.
Well, we don't
all
know for
took the
sure.
under.
We don't know for sure.
We all took the under. You were trying to jock your way out of points?
Well, it's points for all of us. So
Yeah.
The next one, Jalen Noel 30-point games. The over-under was 1.5. Do you guys know if this one hit?
No, it's only one, right?
There's
he had
only
like
one.
20. He did.
He had a 30-point game against Utah right after the Mike Conley trade, but before Mike Conley played. Jalen Noel had a 30-point game, and he had a couple like 27s.
I was gonna say,
at the
he
beginning
flirts
of
with
the
it a
year.
lot, yeah.
It was real close.
But I took the under on that one. Durf, Jelly, and the listeners all took the over.
Oh no, Jalen.
The next one was All Stars. The over-under was 1.5. We had 1. It was Anthony Edwards. We were like, well, this is obvious. It's just, is it going to be Kat or Rudy? You thought it was going to be D'Angelo Russell.
I really was smoking that shit.
We all took the over on this one. The under hit. So boo for us. Boo for the Timberwolves for only having 1 All-Star.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Get out of here.
And the last one, Larry O'Brien trophies for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The over-under was set at 0.5. Unfortunately, the number is 0. Durf, Jally, and the listeners all took the over.
Fear's the mind
I
killer.
didn't
Hell
want
yeah.
your stupid jersey anyway.
I took the under. Are you ready for the final
I
standings?
think that means you won.
The final standings. Coming in dead last with only 5 correct was a Nate Ulster.
Let's go, baby.
Your fervent belief.
My first year ever
your
watching
fervent
basketball.
belief in their championship odds, their all-stars, their D'Angelo Russell's hairstyles did not
Some
pay
of us
off for you.
believe. Some of us still have hope.
I love that.
Yeah.
Faith.
Yeah.
And your result is you have to go halvesies on a jersey for one of us.
$6.
Coming in second to last, the listeners with 7.
Oh, this jersey's paid for. The listeners are chipping in.
And coming in second place with 8,
Who was it?
Jordan Alamat.
Damn it. I wanted to win another jersey.
no
And
way.
coming in first place because I had the courage to say they were not going to win the
It
championship
really
this
came
year.
down to that. Do you have 9?
I had 9.
Damn it.
No one's checking his
And
work.
if you hadn't gotten it, this is why I was trying to bait fears the mind killers out of you. If you hadn't hit that, it would have been a tie.
Damn. You didn't have to bait that out of me. I was
I didn't know because I didn't want to go through and count them all.
I was smoking that shit.
So, gentlemen, you get to pick the jersey, but you owe me one.
What size are you?
Probably a
Child's
large.
medium.
Child's medium.
I might flex to an
We didn't
XL
say it had to work.
on vintage.
XL is too big.
Hey,
But some of those vintage ones.
I want to be in on who it is. Then.
I know. We're going to do it right now.
Oh, right now.
Oh, you're
Okay.
picking one right now?
I get an email every morning about
And
this.
it has to be wolves, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Like-
their other rule was like it couldn't be like a big timer, so it couldn't be like KG or
Yeah.
cat or anything.
That's too cool.
That's the thing, though.
I want like Dante.
There it is. Oh, fuck. No, we can't do that one.
him Dante Cunningham.
Yeah, I'll get the Cunningham.
I was at the game where Dante Cunningham went 10 for 10 from the field.
Oh,
I was at the game where Eddie Griffin ran into the train.
Was that like 2015?
Well, he was
Oh,
he was having a good time.
that was the gas station.
Oh, a different time.
I think you
What a
messed
way
that
to-
up. I think
what a
it's the
way to go.
I think that's the second time you've messed that up. I think we started the pod
Yeah.
this year with that.
You know what you can never mess up? Putting Joe Mama salsa on anything. So I've gone away from eating chips, but
Okay.
I've been making taco bowls in my weight loss journey.
Ooh.
And I throw some Joe Mamas on there. Oh boy, howdy. And I've lost 20 pounds. Don't be like, you're eating
Yeah, I was
taco
gonna
bowls?
say, Jolly was telling me before this, he's lost 20 pounds and he's been eating exclusively
Yeah.
Jimmy's dips and Joe Mama's salsa.
You know why? Tomatoes, fruit,
Yeah.
peppers, vegetables. What else is in salsa?
Broth.
Broth.
Tomato broth.
I don't know.
That's called juice.
I don't think Joe Mama's salsa has broth, but I do
it's
know
branded. It's trademarked.
I do know that they have locally sourced ingredients from the Midwest. They're from River Falls, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
Normally we swear off Wisconsin things, so we embrace Joe Mama's and we embrace Giannis. So and I'll embrace Ray Allen and just historical Bucks jerseys because they're great.
Michael Red,
Oscar-
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Lou Alcindor at that time.
Lou
No, he was
No, he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was
yeah.
Lou Alcindor in college.
He was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I thought he had a couple of years as Lou Alcindor.
I don't know when he changed it.
Well, whatever. Who else was I gonna say? The Big O, Bob Cousy.
He played for Boston.
Did he play for? He was a player coach for the Bucks.
Oh, what?
Bob Cousy was. Hang on, Joe Mamas. You'll get your ad read. We got to do the show real quick. Bob Cousy was a player coach with the Oscar Robertson's early days.
For Cincinnati. He
Huh.
played 7 games for Cincinnati.
Well, then the freaking then the unauthorized bio I read of Oscar Robertson in 4th grade was very wrong because I thought Bob Cousy was a player coach with the Bucks for a very long time up until this
You've been
moment in
telling
time.
it on every pod you've
Bob
been on.
Cousy was a player coach for the Cincinnati Royals in 1969.
Did Oscar Robertson play with him? Because I thought I had this.
Oscar Robertson was on that team.
Then why did I misread the autobiography when I was in 4th grade?
Well, Oscar
I must
Robertson,
have.
Oscar Robertson
I
played
must
for
have.
the Bucks later in his career.
Yeah, but what about Bob Cousy?
Or did the Cincinnati Royals turn into the Bucks?
Yeah. I don't know that.
Maybe.
There's no way to know.
There's no
Nope,
way to know.
They did not.
Well,
There is
anyway,
a way to know.
Well,
there was 2 teams in 1970. One of them was the Cincinnati Royals, and one of them was the Milwaukee Bucks.
And you know, but like
Blurred lines.
Blurred Lines, that song.
I know you
That,
want
I don't
it.
want to talk about this song.
I know.
I want to talk about Joe Mama's salsa because
Let's talk more about it.
Joe Mama
No.
Salsa. I know you want it.
it's a
We
mag-
can't use that.
It's a magic carpet ride for your mouth. Everyone knows it. Everyone's tweeting it. Everyone's talking about it. They got the original. They got the Mama's Baby, which is the mild. The mango pineapple. You know my freaking thoughts. Roasted garlic and smoking hot mama. There's something for everyone in the family. Okay, Joe Mama's for real. It's not like those big salsa shells.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we F with big salsa?
No,
Absolutely
no. We only F with locally sourced, locally made salsa like Joe Mama's. All right. And remember, they have that fundraising bit going on as the baseball season comes into swing, or like your hockey.
Yeah.
Well, they have the market on hockey, and the hockey season is done for youth.
Get it started on next year.
You can start maybe if you have like a jazz band or a concert band that you're in and your kids in at school. You can do fundraising through Joe Mama's Salsa at Joe Mama's JOMOMMAS.com/fundraising. Drop the fundraising and just buy some salsa from their website because it's freaking bomb. It's also like Cub Foods or Hy-Vee. And that is it. It is time for Random Wolf of the Week.
Wow.
Durf, did you get the hints right this time?
No, I made them up.
Because last time Durf had Random Wolf of the Week, he tried to convince us Marcus George's Hunt averaged like 80 points a game.
Which is
it was 79.
We should have seen through that.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys got through 5 clues before you realized that was false.
Random Wolf Mead.
All right.
Clue number 1.
No, we get we get our free hint.
Okay.
Anthony Davis.
No, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think I've got Durf pegged for his like typical era of guys.
2007 to 2015.
Is it Chase Buttinger?
It is not.
Remember when we signed him? We were like, oh wow, we got Chase from the Rockets.
So good.
Wow.
I feel like you guys have guessed Chase before.
But it's just like, I'm just gonna keep guessing guys in that era for you.
I know.
That's when we watched in college,
All right.
and there's a lot of white dudes.
Clue numero uno.
Number 1.
That's number 1 for our non-Spanish.
Thank you for the
listeners.
translation. A 7th overall pick. This former Timberwolf was just 1 year removed from overlapping with co-alumnus and future NBAer Roy Hibbert.
Is that Derek Williams?
No, that was 2nd overall pick.
Roy
Hibbert, 7th overall. Roy Hibbert played at Georgetown.
Yes. Hey, I got it right. Let's go college basketball. I'm fucking the Matt Ryan of our wow.
Really using
7th overall pick.
I'm smoking that shit.
Good bit.
So he played with Roy Hibbert in college.
Yeah. So
Well, he didn't play with him. He
was 1 year
immediately after him.
He was competing with him, maybe if they played 1-on-1 or 5-on-5.
He would have been a recruit, I think.
Roy Hibbert was in college in 1963. No, because he looked old all the time. No, 2005, right? 7?
I don't know. He went to Wake Forest. I was going to say Jeff Teague.
Chris Paul went to Wake Forest.
So did Jeff Teague.
Really?
Yeah.
What about Dwayne Wade? Marquette.
Jimmy Butler.
These are not Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jimmy Butler is.
Yes, that was a fun time, except for the end. Matt Ryan?
No, 7th overall pick.
Yeah, he was great. Not by the Timberwolves, probably.
Hurry up. This is clue number 1.
I think
he went to Florida, but I know he was the 7th overall pick. Corey Brewer.
It is not Corey Brewer.
I knew it was Matt Ryan.
Clue number 2. Over his NBA career, said former Timberwolf averaged a solid 13 points per game, 7.2 rebounds on an efficient 51.4%.
Is this a Ramon Sessions? That's about that time.
No, that's too many rebounds for Ramon Sessions.
You doubt Ramon Sessions the same way you doubt Matt Ryan.
It's got to be a big guy.
Doesn't have to be a big guy. Jordan McLaughlin gets rebounds.
7 rebounds is a lot.
You can get lucky. Pat Bev wasn't 7 overall. He was undrafted.
No. It's Greg Monroe.
Is that your final guess?
Yeah, no, he didn't go to Georgetown, but he was the 7th overall pick.
Oh, it's not,
is it Greg Monroe?
Are you pick?
Yeah,
we're
yes.
picking
It is Greg Monroe.
Okay.
Pick number 3 or clue number 3.
We got it.
Yeah, but I want to hear it. I still want to hear the clues.
Your reaction was so monotone.
How did we not know it was Greg Monroe?
I know.
Derp?
We were just talking about this. I forgot we were doing that today. So I was like, oh shit, they're for sure going to guess this right away.
Nope.
We didn't. So the remaining clues were, and I didn't use ChatGPT for these 3.
I've never used ChatGPT.
I actually tried it and it was nonsense.
You just say, make it harder, make it harder, make it harder. At least 4 times. This guy doesn't know how to chat GPT.
All right, so clue number 3 was 17 years and 9 teams later, he decided to hang up his jersey for good on teams including Utah, Boston, Toronto, Detroit, Minnesota, Phoenix, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Washington.
Well, he played it for Washington in between stints with
Phoenix?
us, right?
Yeah, some of them were like, again, more 10-day contracts. I don't know what year he played for Phoenix. But
Oh yeah, he had a wild run right after Milwaukee.
and then clue number 4. Wait, no, clue number 4 was in his
Yes.
4 regular season games with the Timberwolves, he averaged 7.3 points per game, 6 boards, and 4. I think that was supposed to be assists.
How legendary was Greg
And
Monroe
then-
versus Boston?
And then clue number
I can't
5
believe it.
was this former Timberwolf still owes me a game-worn jersey and is also known as the Moose.
Does he owe you a game worn jersey?
Yeah, just because I tweeted at him after that one game
Yeah.
that he played, and I was
mean-
like, "I need your jersey," because they weren't going to sell them.
and he owes it to you.
Well, I mean,
Owes it.
it's a binding contract.
Yeah, tweets. Everyone sees tweets. Everyone knows this. All right, we have reached the end of the show. I have a thing that I want to say, and let me pull out my notes here. Do we have time for this? You guys care? Yeah, we have. No, shit, we're getting down.
Is it
to
about me?
No, it's not about that. It's about
Derp sucks.
I go,
I am sick of it.
I go, is it about me? He goes, no, it's not about that. Like he knows specifically what I was referring to.
it's not about that thing we're not supposed to talk about.
What?
I have one last thing before we hang it up. Fans need to chill out, man. I feel like Wolves Twitter is so stressed. There's so much doom and gloom. When the reality is, like, the new starting 5 of Conley, Ant, Jaden, Cat, and Gobert only played 5 games together this year. The full lineup of those 5 plus Nas, Kyle, Knott, and Taurean Prince only played 1 game together healthy. I know we did a lot of like bitching about the team and the falters and the weaknesses, and those are all very real. But let's keep in mind this season was really weird and unfortunate, and that's the reality. Our starters played 5 games together. The full 10 in the rotation played 1. The other reality is calling for firing Finch is probably a dumb idea. You want to know what knee-jerk firing coaches does? It stunts players' growths and creates bad habits.
Yeah.
You know who is an
ask
example?
Toronto.
Karl Anthony Towns. 4 coaches and 5 GMs in his 8-year career. That's not a recipe for success at all. Finch has taken us to the playoffs twice in a row. One of those years was when he maximized a scrappy group of underdogs, and the other was during an injury-plagued season in which he was tasked with an experiment that combines 14 feet of skin and $500 million of contracts.
And every year, Anthony Edwards gets better. And every time anyone asks Anthony Edwards about what he likes about Minnesota, he talks about how much he loves Finchy and how much Finchy challenges him.
And
also,
that's all you need to know.
we're the Minnesota Timberwolves. Making the playoffs 2 years in a row
Is good.
is like the second most amazing accomplishment in franchise history.
It's good. The final reality is that the 2022-23 City Edition jerseys were good. I don't want to hear anything else.
No.
Just kidding. Well, no, I do believe that. But the actual final reality is that something, Nate, you touched on in one of our first episodes, is that being miserable and acting cynical and being unsurprised that a Minnesota team lost doesn't make you smart or cool or edgy. It makes you sad and insufferable. And I think it makes you more stressed out, which makes you ugly. And that lowers your life expectancy. Stress leads to death, and you give it to yourself. So fear is the mind killer. Shape up. Get some Kwisatz Haderach energy. Kwisatz Haderach. Jeez, I fucked that up. Kwisatz Haderach from
know.
Dune.
I don't know what that is.
It's what Paul Atreides is.
I've only seen it once.
I've only read it.
Oh, I haven't read the book yet.
Oh, the book is great.
I have the book.
We should
I
read it.
have plenty of books.
But basically,
I have lots of books, but I don't read very fast.
my whole bit is
I can't read.
It's not a. It's
I've just memorized words.
like you're
I'm
not.
not convinced I know how to read. I've just memorized a lot of words.
It's not cool or like
Yeah.
I don't know what clout you're hunting for when you're trying to be negative like that. But it's just annoying, and I think it's kind of gross.
If watching the Timberwolves makes you miserable,
Then don't
stop
do it.
watching.
Don't do it. Okay,
Yeah,
we
it's
love
okay to have fun. The final thought
Oh, another final reality.
is that
Please don't do that. Crazy
anyway.
thing.
So there's a thing and lemons.
Yes,
and
go. We love you. Do you have it?
The,
You actually have a
the
rant?
final thought was
Yes.
there will be future episodes.
Oh,
But I just was gonna say this was a really fun time doing a podcast with 3 buddies, 3 brothers. Two brothers with
These brothers have a strong bond.
with 3 buds watching the game we love, and it's fun that you guys tuned in.
yeah.
And they blow up the mood.
We're just three dudes, talking hoops, and we're happy that you guys listen.
And then a
No, it's very
Mexican
cool.
armada.
Okay.
And 2 brothers. It's just called 2 brothers.
I love that. I was trying to be heartfelt. I was like, should we do the thank you this week or next episode? No, whatever. yeah, thanks for listening. This is it's pretty crazy. I don't need to go into a big diatribe about it, but it's very special, and we love you. I love you guys. I love the listeners. I love Pan Nation. I love Thomas. Thomas. I'm moving. I can't move a camera. I'm scared to move him. But Thomas is here.
Can we put Thomas on the mic?
Thomas, hop on the mic.
Asking questions. I can come and see.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
This is producer.
Welcome to the show.
This is producer Thomas. He's been helping us out all year.
Killing it. We love it.
What was your favorite sexual ad read that we had to delete?
2 episodes ago.
I forgot what I said, but is it the grandma one?
Yeah.
Oh God.
That was amazing.
We love you all so very much. Make pulltabsports.com your homepage. Make sure you subscribe to No Pants Crunch. Crunch Wears No Pants on freaking Spotify or Google Podcasts or podcast.com/pantless pod genre /horny. And also make sure you follow.
That's how I listen.
It's a really horrible user interface. And make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at No Pants Crunch. Hey, did you guys like that I posted on the Instagram like 8 times in one day?
Jalen is remarkably inconsistent with the social media presence.
It's all Twitter. We freaking love you. If I catch you driving unsafe, guess what? We're going to find you. We're going to steal your pants.